Hello and welcome to episode 240 of the Heart of Markness Led Zeppelin podcast. Got a good one for you this week. John Paul Jones, perhaps you've heard of him. On his Zooma tour, West Hollywood, California at the House of Blues, October 29th, 1999, in the last millennium. Now, I have this because Jonesy is super awesome, and his shows are super awesome, and his musicianship is second to none. However, I must make a confession. This was going to be the sadly overdue October Patreon episode for my patrons, but unfortunately, I actually, at this moment, have COVID. And as you can probably hear, it hasn't hit me that hard, but what it has done is, aside from making my chest feel like I've just swallowed 1,000 hornets, it gives me very little energy. So I am running on fumes. I grabbed this. I apologize, patrons. It's going to be a little later, but I had to get this out tonight. So apologies, everybody. This is going to be more of a short, sweet, and by the numbers podcast, because I just don't have that much gumption, and all I want to do is sleep. It's 5 p.m. here, and I've taken two 2-hour naps already. So, apologies for the lack of energy, but other than that, okie dokie. John Paul Jones. This is right off the master cassette from the recorder. The set list is as follows. I'm giving you the set list because you can go to heartofmarkness.com and get this entire show if you want. Just if this show has been out for a while, it is November 5th today. Remember the 5th of November 2023. If you're listening to this far past that, just go to heartofmarkness.com, use the search function to find this show, and grab it. The set list as follows. Opens with Zooma, then into Grind, then The Smile of Your Shadow, Nosumi Blues, Spaghetti Junction, which is off the Scream for Help soundtrack with Jimmy, No Quarter, which is a song by Fish, Goose, Steal Away, Snake Eyes, Crackback, another one off the Scream for Help soundtrack, Bee Fingers, Jump Blues, When the Levee Breaks, perhaps you've heard of that, Tidal, Trampled Underfoot, and Black Dog. I love it that he does those Zeppelin songs because they're his. Black Dog is his riff. He brought that to the band. When the Levee Breaks, he's got a part in that. Trampled Underfoot, that's all him. And No Quarter, of course. Very cool. Now, we're going to start here, and I'm going to be playing for you the first 3 songs of this set, because as I listened to this recording, it just blew me away, like right from the start. The unbelievable musicianship. And typically, when I do Jonesy stuff, I've done it at least once before, I think twice, maybe 3 times. Oh, maybe 3 times, because I did him and Diamant de Glace, too, in 1994. I typically do the Zeppelin stuff. This time I did not. I'm just playing the first 3 songs. Well, no, I'm not. I'm playing the first 4 songs. Song 1, Song 2, and Song 4, skipping Song 3. Because, as I listened and was kind of taking brief notes, these are the ones that are just like, this is just a strong fucking opener, and let's just run with it. And let's hear Jonesy playing contemporary Jonesy stuff. So, we're going to start with Zooma as the show opener. It's going to start off kind of shitty. It's going to clear up as the guy sets up his mic, sets up his recorder, gets established in his seat. People sit down, and the sound stage opens up to him, and the mix gets fixed too. So, it starts off, and you'll be like, dude, why am I listening to what sounds like a 1970 audience recording from 1999, and why did you choose this to share with us, Mark? Give it a minute. It gets better throughout, and then, of course, by about halfway through Zooma, it is as good as it's going to get. And it's perfectly great. It is very loud, very punchy. And I believe on this tour, maybe it was the Thunder Thief tour, I know at some point I believe Jonesy opened for King Crimson. which would have been an incredible show, because while I was listening to this, all I was thinking was, this is King Crimson level shit. which is praise indeed, because John Paul Jones is, of course, an incredible King Crimson level musician, which is saying something. So let's jump into it with the title track from his first solo album, Zooma. Yeah, but he did that. That wasn't a solo album. Like I said, he did it with the Amanda Gallus, so suck it. Zooma. Ladies and gentlemen, October 29th, 1999, West Hollywood, California, House of Blues, John Paul Jones. What say you, outsider? Will you also woo for the great John Paul Jones? Do it. Woo! There you go. Unbelievably badass. I realized upon listening to it, because there's about 30 seconds of that track that I cut because it was just even quieter, that it's the dude actually entering the venue and walking into it and getting to his seat. So, there you go. You have a little bit of little traveling music there. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Jonesy, 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 Jonesy. I don't know for sure who the band is, but it seems like it would make sense if it were the people that played on his album, which were on Zooma. It was Pete Thomas on the drums, Paul Leary playing only one guitar solo, Trey Gunn, Mo Jones, spoken word, that's his wife. Wow, there's not a lot of folks. Jonesy's on just about everything. Holy shit. So yeah, Trey Gunn, Paul Leary, Pete Thomas, Denny Fongheiser on the djembe, the hippie drums, and the London Symphony Orchestra. Bunch of different engineers. All right, well, let's say hopefully it's Pete Thomas on drums. I don't know. If I had more gumption, I would look it up. But I don't. I don't. I ain't got no gumption today, 'cause I'm sick. I got the COVID. What? I got the COVID. And I'm loopy, as you tell. All right, well, let's jump into it. Loud. This concert is loud and powerful. The bass, you can just feel the strength and the sheer force of the bass of Jonesy. And that he is and was, as the Page Plant reunion showed epically, the special sauce that made Led Zeppelin unbelievable. I mean, Bonzo, of course, none of them are replaceable. But Jonesy, sometimes I feel, gets the little bit of the short end of the stick because he's not wild. He doesn't have that mystery that Jimmy has. He doesn't have that extroverted I am a golden god charisma of Robert. He doesn't have the thundering virtuosity of Bonzo, although he has his own thundering virtuosity. He doesn't have the tragic backstory. He's a professional musician who was professional and unbelievable his entire career. He made Zeppelin magical, and he's sharing his magic with the world. And again, he's not the only one. None of them could have done anything, but I do feel that of them all, Jonesy is more like the Jan Brady of the group, because he was the responsible middle child. All right, the smile of her shadow, your shadow. Is that what we're doing? Yes, we're not going to listen to Grind. We're going to listen to The Smile of Your Shadow, track 3. Here we go. It is brilliant and loud and brilliant. Enjoy.
rock and roll. Okay. Another silly bass instrument. This is the bass mandolin. All these instruments have been made by that man over there, Mr. Hugh Manson. He just keeps making them and handing to me and go, oh, there's another one. Anyway, they sound gorgeous. So now, what's Smile of a Shadow?
Well, thank you, Jonesy. The track listing is wrong for this, because, as you may have caught, what we listened to, which was listed as The Smile of Your Shadow, was in fact Grind, and The Smile of Your Shadow is the song that he was just about to play there, and which is the song that we're about to hear. It's listed as No Sumi Blues, but it is most definitely The Smile of Your Shadow. So sorry about that. You guys know, most of you know how these live recordings work. Sometimes the track listings are wrong, sometimes they're just not filled out because people don't know the songs. This is a case of the former. It's just off by one, it seems. So, well, that's okay, because it's still pretty fucking awesome, right? And, alright, well, let's get through this. Apologies. So yes, that was Grind. That was not The Smile of Your Shadow. What you just heard is Grind. Apologies, and as the taper would surely do if he knew, he apologizes too. Sorry, everybody. But this is an opportunity for me to say thank you, and that you can find me on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube under the name Heart of Markness. YouTube is blowing up, finally getting numbers in the thousands, because I hadn't been doing it right, because I'm a fucking idiot. But my friend Jeremy, bless your heart, the one who actually provided the logo for the podcast with the microphone, and the microphone literally through which I'm speaking with you, told me about some extra steps to take when making my YouTube video, including putting tags in and subtitle information and things, which I hadn't done because I thought the tags were done with the initial channel, and it was dumb. I should have thought about it because it was obvious forehead slapping, obvious like this. That was my forehead. And boy, what a difference it made. So lots more views on YouTube. But you've already found me, so you're already listening to me, so you don't know where to find me. Don't need to know where to find me. But on Facebook, there is a Facebook group for the Heart of Markness podcast, which has a few hundred people in it who are all, so far so good, pretty fucking nice. And you can hang out and talk classic rock and Zeppelin and stuff and ask your questions. Do you think Jimmy would... blah, blah, blah. Speaking of, Jimmy Page played at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony, where he played honoring the inductee Link Ray, and he played Rumble, brow brow brow, bum 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 bum, and he kicked ass. 80 years old, essentially. He's 80 in 3 months, and came out with the double neck and fucking wowed it. I was going to grab it, rip it off of YouTube, merge it with the snippet that was released professionally, make it sound good and talk about it, but my buddy and budding nemesis, JCM on the YouTube channel, the guy that does all those Zeppelin documentaries, did one already. So I don't have to. He did it better than I. Go look at the JCM YouTube. You'll get a better explanation of what happened. Jimmy came out and played, basically he played the song Rumble with tremendous attitude, skill, charm, grace, and Jimmy Page badassery, and played it true to form. And Led Zeppelin News, James, who I've had on the show a couple times here, has interviewed Anton Fig and the other guy, the guy who played bass, who were Jimmy's band already, and that's up at Led Zeppelin News if you're on his Substack. So there's already stuff there the day after. It's all out there. Why don't you just tell us, Mark? No, look it up yourself. I'm busy and I'm sick and I'm full of hate, even though I sound pretty happy. No, when I get sick, I get grumpy. And I am grumpy. So, all right. Yes. Facebook, you got all that. Heartofmarkness.com, I've already mentioned. You can go to heartofmarkness.com. That's a website I have specifically for the posting of the concerts that I cover. For the posting of the concerts that I cover with the Jello pudding pops. My God, that was a dead, perfect Bill Cosby. You terrified me, Mark. I thought Bill Cosby was in the room with me. If he was, you'd already be asleep and in danger. All right. Yes, and lastly, all of this is possible thanks to the Titans upon whose shoulders rests this humble yet mighty podcast. My patrons. My patrons, who would have been listening to this great show while you guys listened to something else, but I got sick and had to pull this out from them. I apologize, patrons. I'll get to you in the next day or two, I promise. I already know what I'm going to play, and it's going to be good, and these unwashed masses will never know. So, these are the, as I said, aforementioned Titans upon whose shoulders rests this humble and mighty podcast. If you want to be in that number, you can go to patreon.com. That was dumb. Or go to heartofmarkness.com and hit the Patreon button that's there and see if there's something there for you. It's a free podcast. It's always going to be a free podcast, but if you want to kick me a little cheddar, I would be grateful. So, a Laurel and Hardy handshake go out to Lisa, Keith and Tilda, Brian, Steve, George, Big Ed, Kenny of regular size, John from West Footscray, Picard, Rob from Melbourne, Australia, Wayne, Brad, Danielle, Tracy, Other David, Bonzo Billy, and Mimo. Shout out goes out to Patron Emeritus Knegarn. Love you, man. Glad you're still listening. Hope all is well. And thank you for everything, man. All right. Now we are done with the spiel. Let us jump back into the songs. What songs? These songs. Now we're really going to listen to The Smile of Your Shadow. All right? Beautiful. Sounds very Kid A Radiohead-ish, which is high praise because Radiohead is an insane band, and like Zeppelin, they are a million times better live than on record. Here you go. Smile of Your Shadow for real this time. Jonesy. There we go. Multi-instrumentalist, genius, composer, arranger, John Paul Jones, a.k.a. John Baldwin. Bless your heart, sir. Man, I would love to interview him. There may be a choice with that. Jimmy, no way. Robert, no way. Jonesy might. I'm going to talk to some people and see if I can get a contact for Jonesy. I would love to interview him. And whatever he wants to talk about. You want to talk about Ghost Sonata? I'll talk about Ghost Sonata for an hour, buddy. I would love to talk about the playing bass for Etta James in 1975 at the Montreux Jazz Festival. I'd love to talk about that. The stuff he did with Diamanda Gallis. The, oh my god, I can't remember, Coming At Ya. The funk album he did in 1973 with Madeline Bell, not Maggie Bell, different one. There's so much. The work he did with McCartney, give my regards to Broad Street. The work he did with R.E.M. and The Mission and the Butthole Surfers. Holy shit. It never ends. And, of course, you know, he's played a gig or two himself. Fuck, can you imagine that? That would be so cool. All right, well, I have a goal. I'm also completely exhausted from sitting in a chair for half an hour and talking occasionally. God damn, I took the garbage out earlier and had to take a nap. Fucking COVID. I mean, could be worse. Could be a trillion times worse. So I'm going to go to bed. Love you guys. I will talk to you next Sunday. And be good to yourselves and each other. Next week will be straight up Led Zeppelin because it's been a while since I've done just Zeppelin. I've danced around a little bit with the solo stuff. Robert Plant, Jimmy Page and the Black Crowes, John Paul Jones, etc. Coverdale Page. We'll be back to regular good old Led Zeppelin next week. Don't you worry. Love you. Bye-bye.